This camera right here has a lot of different names depending where you live. It could be called the Elan 7NE or the 33V or even the EOS 7S. This particular one is from Japan, so it's called the 7S. And yes, it looks and sounds just like a digital SLR. But as you can see, this is a film camera. And it's actually the last film SLR that Canon made before they completely switched over to digital cameras in the early 2000s. It has 7 autofocus points, 4 frames per second burst mode, which admittedly is pretty crazy for a film camera given that the camera has to wind the film between each and every frame. And on top of all of that, it has eye control, as you can see here, and surprisingly it works pretty well. Wherever you point your eye inside the viewfinder, that's where the focus point will go. Just by looking at this camera and hearing how it sounds as well, you could easily be mistaken for thinking that this was any one of the entry-level DSLRs from the last 10 years. So one of the big reasons why I ended up buying this camera is because of its autofocus performance. So mostly my experience with owning these older SLR cameras is having a really hit and miss experience when it comes to autofocus, with a heavy emphasis on the miss part. And it became very frustrating getting these really expensive rolls of film back and only having a handful of them actually tack sharp in focus. So that led me to do a little bit more research into, what is the absolute best performing autofocus film SLR. And I couldn't get very far in my research without running into this camera, the Elan 7NE, or whatever the country you live in decided to call it. Now, I'm not saying that this camera is perfect, but having 1 or 2 photos out of focus out of a roll of 36 is definitely an improvement. And paired up with this lens, the 50mm 1.8 STM, I really haven't found a situation where I can't justify just stuffing this in the extra pocket in the top of my bag before a shoot. All right, so that all sounds really good, but what are the results? Like, how do the photos actually look coming out of this camera? Last week I had the opportunity to go out and take some photos on this exact setup with my friend Nico, and I shot 2 rolls of Portra 400. The goal was to shoot on the film camera, but I also had access to a Canon R6 Mark II as my digital backup, so I was taking some photos on that, and a little bit later in the video we'll do a little bit of comparison between the two as well. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, leaning in against the concrete, like a bit more. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's great. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay. 2, 1. Can we do one with the glasses down, actually?
Down?
Yeah, I like that. You can actually grab the glasses with your hand. Yeah, that's it. 3, 2, 1. Cool. Yep. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Maybe one with the glasses. Just reach up and grab the glasses again. That was really cool. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. One really cool thing about this camera is its maximum shutter speed. So in the past, I've had quite quite a few issues with different film cameras having quite low maximum shutter speeds. Like my Canon AE1 has a maximum of 1/1000th of a second. My RZ67 is even worse. It has a maximum shutter speed of 1/400th of a second. So you can imagine in bright situations, you do have to resort to stopping down if you don't have any ND filters. So the great thing about this camera, and particularly on this photo shoot, given that we were shooting around midday, the 1/4000th of a second shutter speed meant that I could still shoot with quite a wide open aperture of like 1.8 or 2.8 and really get that nice separation from the background. The maximum shutter speed of this camera is actually a big advantage. On the flip side, if you don't have enough light, this camera also has a pop-up flash, which is really cool.
And now one with a straight face. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. All right, there we go. That's the end. Yep. Very nice. 3, 2, 1. It's because you're like half in the light and half out. Maybe we'll try here. Oh, actually here's kind of cool. Yeah, that's great. 3, 2, 1. Yep, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's great. I'm getting hot. This is fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna get a couple here. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, I did have access to an R6 Mark II, which I had on my shoulder the whole time, just to take some backup digital photos. Here's a side-by-side between the Portra 400 and the R6 Mark II coming straight out of camera. And then here's an after where I applied one of my Helio presets, which is actually modeled after the Portra 400 film stock. And as you can see, it does a pretty good job of matching up.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, that's great. 3, 2, 1. And more of a straight face one? Yeah. Amazing. Wow. The wind in your hair is perfect. 3, 2, 1. It's great. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Take one little step back. Yep, perfect, you got it. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's great. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's amazing, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Like bobbing down, sort of like here. Yeah, maybe with like both feet together, like this. Yeah. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Maybe holding the sunnies. Or like looking at me on top of the sunnies, like looking like that. Yeah, that's cool. 3, 2, 1. That's it.
So as you might have been able to tell, out of 2 rolls of Portra 400, around 70 photos, I got a really good hit rate, and I ended up showing quite a lot of photos in this video from just those 2 rolls. So I am really stoked on the EOS 7S, and it's a camera that I'm probably going to be taking on the majority of my shoots moving forward. I'm also getting into DSLR scanning my own film so I can have even more control over the look and feel of the photos moving forward. So I'm also looking forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.